Aye.
Councilmember Harrington.
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning.
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. Presentations. Sheriff's Department.
Good evening. Custodial arrests and significant events for May of 2020. DWI, there were 3 DWI arrests in May. One arrest was the result of a male going into a business saying he had too much to drink but looking for alcohol. The business contacted 911 to make a report when the male got into a car driving away. The suspect vehicle was located a short time later, stopped on Highway 65. Deputy Madsen made contact with the male driver and he showed signs of impairment. The suspect failed field sobriety tests and tested at a 0.11 blood alcohol content. The second was made after a vehicle was stopped for not having the headlights on. The driver did not realize that their headlights were not on. The arrest was the result of deputies being called to an area regarding a fight in progress. Prior to arriving, one male was said to have left and a vehicle description was given. Deputy Nelson, arriving in the area, saw the vehicle and made a traffic stop. The male appeared to be under the influence and failed field sobriety tests. The other male involved in the possible fight did not want to do anything about that, so the male suspect was arrested for DUI. He refused to take a test after speaking with an attorney. Fraud. Deputy Madsen received a fraud report. A juvenile male reported he had purchased $40 worth of PlayStation gift cards to get additional players for Madden 20. The juvenile male and his friend had found the advertisement on TikTok and Instagram. Upon submitting gift cards and activation codes, he had not received a link with new players. He had attempted to contact the person, but had been blocked from any further contact. Suspicious vehicle, violation of no contact order. Deputies were called on a vehicle that was parked in the parking lot of an apartment building that did not reside at the building, nor was visiting tenants of the building. The apartment manager advised she watched a male park the vehicle, then walk over to the trailer park. Deputies were familiar with the male and went to his residence, but no one was home. They then went to the residence of his ex-girlfriend, who has a no contact order against him. Upon arriving at the residence, deputies could see a male they believed to be the vehicle owner inside. The female motioned to the male to go back into a room once she saw it was deputies at her door. The female refused to go to the door, but contacted her father to advise him of the deputies at her door. Deputies verified the no contact order was still valid. Arrived and the female did come to the door. She advised the male was not in her residence and that they could come inside and look for themselves. The male was found crouching inside a half wall in the bathroom. When he tried to get himself out, he got stuck and was unable to get out. East Bethel Fire Department responded to help extricate the suspect. He was taken to jail on the no contact order violation and advised he was not able to park in the apartment parking lot. Calls for service continued to increase this month. There were 520 calls as compared to 495 last month. Thefts are continuing to rise. Mainly these are thefts from vehicles that are parked in driveways or parking lots. We did receive several complaints regarding ATVs driving on roads and fireworks or gunshot type calls. ATVs are allowed to be driven on city streets per ordinance by city residents or others accompanied by a city resident. Firearms are not allowed to be discharged if they are within 500 feet of any dwelling, house, or commercial building that is not owned by the person or without consent of the owner. Therefore, there are many complaints of discharging firearms that are legal as they are not within the 500-foot requirement of neighboring houses. Deputies do respond to these calls, but if the person is shooting legally and has a good backstop, they are not committing any type of crime. Therefore, there's not much they can do other than to let them know that that we did receive a complaint on them. And that's all I have for my report for this month.
Any questions for Shelley tonight? All right. Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley. Have a nice evening.
Have a good night. Safe 4th to everyone. Be careful. sure Mark will talk about it too, but be careful.
Thanks. Fire department report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
So in May, we had 59 calls that we responded to. Of those 59 calls, 33 were medical related. 2 of them were structure fires, one that we had in our city and one that was a mutual aid. We had half a dozen, 6 burning calls, 5 car accidents, and we got called back to 1 car accident again, and a couple car fires. However, we did have a couple interesting calls I thought I'd talk about. One was extrication of a teenager that was stuck in a baby swing at the park. And we were successfully able to free the teenager from the baby swing. And of course, the other one is, as Shelley had said, we assisted in the extrication of a suspect from underneath a manufactured home that was hiding out. So we're always glad to help in both of those situations. Like to report that our staff is healthy, and we're continuing our PPE, personal protective equipment policy, and where we're limiting the number of people in the fire trucks, and also making sure that we're wearing masks inside the trucks and inside the stations when there's a number of people around. Fireworks are coming up with the 4th of July. I just want to warn everybody that Minnesota does have a fireworks law, and you are permitted to have fireworks that do not take off and fly and do not go boom. And just a reminder to everybody, I know we all like fireworks, but be extremely careful. And with the dryness that is out there, we're approaching the drought status in our area. We could have needless grass fires and other things like that.
Yeah.
Any questions, Mayor?
Any questions for Chief tonight? Suzanne?
Trying to unmute, it's not letting me.
No,
Can you hear
you're
me? Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Oh, it still says I'm muted. Okay. My question is, I noticed that just about every one of your reports, there is an accident on Viking and 65. And I am wondering, is that an increase since the J-hooks have gone in? Because I never noticed so many accidents before. And that's my question.
I don't think there's an increase, so to speak, at the intersection. When 65 and Viking are noted, or when we get a call, it could be anywhere within a 3-block area either way. But I would be more than happy to work with Shelley in the sheriff's office and get that information for you.
Mark, one thing you might want to relate is the last accident that we responded to at 65 and 22, what the cause of it was. The RV and the bear.
Yes, there was a bear that was on the highway and was hit by a vehicle. I'm not sure if the bear survived, but animals that size, of course, cause some type of large damage to vehicles. There hasn't been as many in our area, but on Viking, especially towards Linwood, I've noticed a lot of deer hits. The deer are moving all around. But Jack and the rest of the council, I'll be happy to work with Shelley to try to get some information on data.
Yeah, we can actually update what we did last year. Last year we did a comparison between the opening and the same period of the year before, and the number of accidents was the same.
Right. Right. And that's what I would expect, but we'll find that out.
Yeah, I think we've had, some of the accidents aren't necessary, like where before we had people running lights and getting into crashes there. Now it's the people who are either, well, typically it's the people who are going south to turn around and head north. And when they go south, they have to cross over all those lanes of traffic. And that's where we're running into people side swiping or that kind of thing. So there might be an increase in that type of an accident. But overall, I don't know that there's an increase, but I can pull those numbers for you guys.
Okay, great. Thank you both.
Mark,
Anything else from Chief?
Mark? Chief
Yes.
Charm, the extrication of the baby swing, can I assume that you did not have to damage the swing in order to get the teen out of that predicament?
No, I don't believe it was damaged. We just pulled real hard.
I hope you took pictures. Anything else for Chief tonight? All right, thank you very much. On to consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda. I like to pull item C as in cat.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
Randy seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Sweet.
Yes,
Oh, I'm sorry, Suzanne.
sorry, my thing is not unmuting right. I'd like to pull item E, please.
Okay. So item C and E. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Sweeney, can you take roll call vote, please?
Yes, Your Honor. As to the balance, Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
I think Tom has fallen off the meeting. Okay, so I'll be a no vote, I guess.
I can see him. Councilmember Urkel,
Aye. Can you hear me?
Yes, Suzanne,
Okay.
motion passes. Tim, item C.
I just have a correction on page 30 of the council reports. It states that Harrington stated the Upper Rum River meeting was held June 7th, where the 2021 budget was adopted, and they approved the auto report. It should be auditor's report. And that, with that correction, I'll make a motion to approve item C as written with the change.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Randy seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none to the motion, Mr. Sweeney, could you please take roll call vote?
Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
I think he's still off.
okay. Councilmember Urkel,
Aye.
Okay, that motion passed. Suzanne, item E.
Okay, regarding this, Metro INET members, agreement that it's on here, I am wondering if there are issues that were listed in this document, why we don't go to a private internet support company, or do you think that this will fix those problems? And my other question is, have you gotten quotes from other private companies? And I'll mute and listen.
Suzanne, we have investigated this in the past. We didn't get quotes this year. We've never been able to get anything comparable in terms of cost to the service we're getting. Metro INET, operated by the city of Roseville, has been very efficient. They've been more than cost competitive. They're generally cheaper than a private company. we've got an excellent service with them. We can call them at any time. I've been on the phone with them as early as 5:30 in the morning, and there's somebody that answers the phone and they fix our problems. We've had almost no internet problems due to anything that they manage. And I would certainly recommend that we continue with their services because it's been nothing short of outstanding. And we've gotten great value for what we've spent from them.
Okay.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve item, what was it, D? E.
E.
Item E on the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tim seconds. Discussion?
Mm.
Hearing none. Mr. Sweeney, could you take roll call vote, please?
Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. On to new business. Jack?
Nate, are you with us?
I am.
Okay, can you present the CIP report for the Parks Commission?
I can. Let me pull it up here real quick. This is item 6.0C1, the 2021 to 2025 Parks Capital Improvement Plan. The Parks Commission prepares an annual capital improvement plan which updates projected projects, evaluates priorities, and establishes funding for these works for the coming year and for each of the subsequent years for a 5-year period. It is presented to City Council for their approval and used in the preparation of the 2021 budget. Attached is the draft 2021 to 2025 Park CIP developed from discussions at the June 10th Park Commission meeting and the February 3rd Joint City Council Work and Park Commission. Attachment 1 is the draft Park CIP. It reflects a fiscal impact of an increase of $5,000 in the general fund transfer to the Parks Capital Fund. The attachment 1 shows the Jack's got on the screen here. The two main projects for 2021 both involve projects at Booster West. The Parks Acquisition and Development Fund this is the page 36 of your council packet. Shows a Booster West Trail segment project of approximately $50,000. This would run a trail around Booster West, connecting to the Booster East Trail to extend that usage there. For 2022, they have a John Anderson Trail segment that would connect John Anderson Park to the development to the west of there. 2023, they have slotted money for ball field lights at Booster West. For 2024, a shade structure at Booster West. This is the project that we get a lot of requests, especially during tournaments on weekends, for some additional shade for the families and visitors there. And for 2025, a park pavilion to be named at a different location later. On page 37 of your council packet, for 2021, we have Booster West Playground equipment replacement. This is by far and away our biggest park with the most number of visitors. And the equipment there is getting pretty beat up. We've got a number of pieces that are already beyond repair. It's a rather expensive playground equipment piece. We budgeted $125,000. That could go up or down a little bit too, depending on what we like for a project. For 2022, we have replacement playground equipment at Bondi Park. For 2023, we have just a spot for one of our neighborhood parks replacement, as well as skateboard park at Booster West. For 2024, it's equipment replacement and skateboard park at the Coon Lake Beach development. And for 2025, we have that project open yet. Any questions from the City Council or Mayor at all?
Yeah, Nate, I got a question for you. In 2024 in the CIP, maybe I didn't catch it. It's shade structures for Booster West. What, is that just pavilions or?
It's a
are they
large,
planning?
almost like a tent structure. You see them in a lot of parks. They, just a large open pavilion, usually with fabric type material on top.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Nate?
Yes, I do. Nate, I know that there was a project that was going to put a trail from Viking Boulevard over to Northland Manor. Where are we at with that? And then my other question is I thought that was supposed to be in like maybe last year's budget. Is that included in this, or was it taken out, or is it just, is the beginning balance before or after that project that was being talked about? Thanks.
Sure. So that project, if we kind of talked about it at the February 3rd joint work commission, park commission meeting. We have the right of way in place. After we did some research with the Soil and Water District, we found out that most of that project's going to have to be either an elevated walkway or a boardwalk. So it's going to be rather expensive. There wasn't a large interest from the residents of Northland Manor for that park at this point. Well, from the council's comments and from the park commission's comments, we decided to kind of table that plan. We have the property in place. We have the right of way from Oak County. So we can always revisit it if the demand increases, but right now it's not reflected in either the budget or any future plans of this CIP.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Suzanne?
My question is about the booster ball field lights. What I am wondering is that at the last, or one of the last meetings that we talked about these, they seemed like they were really important, really wanted, really high priority. So is there any reason why we can't switch it up and do those sooner?
Yeah, and so with this budget, with this plan, we're only approving really what's planned for 2021. If we were kind of waiting to see what the demand was going to be. Well, we were kind of waiting to see what the demand was going to be this year with that baseball field and what kind of usage we were going to get. And obviously with the COVID-19, we haven't had much use out there. They just started using it for the first time here about a week and a half ago. So if that does increase this summer, we definitely could bump that up for 2022.
Any other questions for Nate? So then we need a motion on the proposed park CIP.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021-2025 Parks Capital Improvement Plan for this, through the City Council for their consideration.
Is there a second to that motion? All right. Is there a second?
I will second. I'll second the motion.
Okay, Randy. Randy seconds. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Sweeney, can you take roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. Before we go further, someone's got their mic on, maybe it shouldn't. There we go. Okay, on to department reports.
Item 7.E1, 181st Avenue Reconstruction Project Joint Powers Agreement. 181st Avenue is a boundary road between the cities of East Bethel and Ham Lake. Because of this, both cities share in the construction and maintenance costs equally. The road is failing and has been targeted by both cities for reconstruction. The reconstruction of 181st Avenue has been budgeted for 2021 by both cities in their respective capital improvement plans, and plans are to use Minnesota state aid funding to pay for the reconstruction. Initial discussions with the city of Ham Lake by city staff indicated that East Bethel's city engineer would handle the engineering and construction management for the project, including project specifications, bidding, and inspections. The attached draft joint powers agreement lays out the framework for the project and how any cost would be shared. It is based on a similar JPA that was used to pave 181st Avenue initially back in 1991. If approved, the JPA would be sent to the city of Ham Lake for their approval. The JPA does not require any project participation at this time. The 181st Avenue reconstruction would follow the regular city council approval process in 2021. Staff recommends approval of the draft joint powers agreement between East Bethel and Ham Lake for construction and maintenance of 181st Avenue Northeast, with this project to be scheduled for 2021. And essentially what this does, it just updates the old joint powers agreement, takes a little bit of language out there that put a little bit more cost on the city of East Bethel and cleaned up a few things in there to make it current to today's needs and demands for this project.
I will make a motion to approve the joint powers agreement between East Bethel and Ham Lake for the construction and maintenance of 181st Avenue Northeast.
Second.
Motion made second. Discussion.
I have a question. Is this where the Viking, the emails regarding the that whole number 5 are coming into, or is that a whole different thing?
No, this is a street that runs and accesses Acapulco and then goes west and connects with Jackson Street. It's
okay.
Between Acapulco and Village Green Mobile Home Park.
Okay, thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Sweeney, could you take roll call vote, please?
Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. On to Jack.
Item 7G1, July the 6th, 2020 work meeting. Our monthly work meeting is scheduled for July 6, 2020 at 7 p.m. Items recommended for council discussion and review could include, but may not be limited to, the following: a no parking posting for Viking Boulevard. Two other items which weren't listed in your agenda. One of these would be a discussion on a return to live meetings for city council, and also a discussion of credits for liquor license fees due to the mandatory closure of bars between the period of March 16th and June 8th, 2020, and the beginning of a preliminary 2021 budget. Staff recommends that City Council set these topics listed and mentioned for the July 6, 2020 work meeting agenda.
Jack, what's the first item of no parking posting on Viking? What's that about?
We've had a recent complaint and several complaints in the past about the no parking in the Thielen Boulevard area on busy weekends and holiday weekends. There's a lot of parking on the shoulders of Viking Boulevard from the spillover parking at Thielen Boat Launch, which creates several safety issues in terms of not only people driving 22, but also for 4 residents that live along that stretch of the highway who have sometimes get their driveways blocked. And when they attempt to pull out their driveways, their visibility is obstructed.
Okay.
So, I think this is something that bears a little bit of discussion. I've had a discussion with the Anoka County Highway Department, and again, this would be the same process that we use for getting the no parking approved on 237th Avenue. and it would require a resolution from us to the county. Then it would be up to the county then to approve and enact this. And just as an update on the 237th project for the no parking posting, that was just approved last week by their Transportation Commission. And I was informed by Jane Rose that those no parking signs would be installed relatively soon.
Okay. We have a motion for our July 6th work meeting agenda.
I will make a motion for the items that were discussed for the council work meeting on July 6th, 2020 at 7 p.m.
Second.
Motion made, second, discussion. Okay, hearing to the motion, Mr. Sweeney, you can take roll call vote, please.
Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Motion passes. On the staff report.
Staff would like to request that council call a special meeting to be held next Monday, June the 29th at 7 p.m. to discuss a proposed TIF application for East Bethel Village Apartments Phase 2. This would be TIF Project 1-2. We had a meeting with the applicants, RAM Construction Group, last Thursday. Myself, Stephanie Hansen, and the mayor, and we reviewed some issues that were still prevalent with Phase 1, mostly architectural issues regarding the exterior architecture of the building on the side facing Highway 65 and the south facing Village Green Apartments. I think it's a pretty good productive discussion. There were some things that were worked out, but the RAM group is very interested in getting this approved, and they say they want to begin construction on the second phase of this project yet this year. So we would have Stacy Wilbang with Ellers to present the information on the TIF project for council's review. So if necessary, we could vote on an approval of TIF funding for this at our July the 13th meeting. In addition to that, I would also like to request that we have a closed session with this special meeting also to discuss some developments regarding the Barrel Gas property. There's been some movement here that we need to get direction from council on. For myself and the attorney is how to proceed with this. So I would like to request a closed session for discussion of purchasing or other means or acquisition of real property under Minnesota State Statute 13D0 for PIN numbers 32, 33, 23, 12-005 and 32, 33, 23, 12-0006.
With that, I'll make a call for a special meeting on Monday, June 29th at 7 p.m. For two agenda items, one being the TIF application, TIF-5 for East Bethel Village, that's Phase 2. And the second item as a closed session with the detail that Jack outlined on the properties.
I'll second.
Motion made in second, discussion.
I have a question. My question is why it needs to be a special session. Is this is it really time sensitive that it couldn't wait where we could discuss the TIF on the 6th and still vote on the 13th and do the closed session on the 13th? I don't really have a problem with it. I'm just wondering.
The applicants do indicate that this is a time sensitive matter. With everything we else have added to the July 6th work meeting and the length of time it will take for our budget discussions, I don't think we have room to do that all with the time allotted for that work meeting.
Okay.
Okay, is any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Sweeney, could you take roll call vote, please?
Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Yeah, that motion passes. On the council reports, Tim.
I got a couple things here. We finalized the golf tournament. It is September 11th. It's called Remember September 11th. It's $65 a person. There'll be a box lunch, not a dinner. And there's no limit to golfers, so the flyers should be coming out. I just want to remind everybody. And secondly, tomorrow night we got a planning commission meeting, and I see there's quite a few items on the agenda, and that's all I've got.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Randy.
I do not have anything to report at this time. Thanks.
Yeah. Suzanne.
I attended the Parks Commission meeting last week, and we went over tonight everything that they talked about there. So that's all I have.
Okay. And Tom.
I don't have anything.
Okay. So with that, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mayor. For the benefit of the record and anybody in the public that's out there watching this tonight, the council is about to go into a closed session for the purpose of discussing the purchase or sale of real estate. Specifically, they'll be talking about the property identified as 293323440001. Closed session will be tape recorded. That tape will be kept according to statute. The council will come back into open session at the conclusion of the closed session and announce if there were any formal actions taken during the course of the closed session. With that being said, Mr. Mayor, I recommend that a motion be made to go into a closed session for the purposes I have stated.
I'll make a motion to go to a closed session for what the city attorney has talked about.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Randy seconds. Any discussion? Mr. Sweeney, could you take roll call vote, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mayor Voss,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning,
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes, and we will go into closed session now.
At this time, if we'll all log out of this meeting and then log into the closed session invitation that was sent this afternoon.
Wow, we're getting way too good at this. Well, present company excluded, so. Wait for Tom. Okay, we're back. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the benefit of the record as well as the public, council is now back in open session after completing a closed session. Closed session was attended by the entire council, as well as the city administrator and the city attorney. Purpose of the closed session was to discuss potential purchase or sale of property, specifically PIN number 293323440001. There was no formal action taken at the closed session. And if that's sufficient, Mayor, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Suzanne seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Sweeney, could you please take roll call vote?
Yes, Your Honor. Mayor Voss.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaisance.
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington.
Aye.
Councilmember Ronning.
Aye.
Councilmember Urkel.
Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. The meeting's adjourned.